Okay, well, this is my first video to you guys, and I'm going to try to challenge you guys as we prepare for the summer in your positions of leadership in this way. I said to a few in an email already that I want you guys to begin to think about your leadership and what that means in many different ways. So I'm going to try to send you a video that you can watch. And it's not homework, there's nothing to turn into, but I just want to begin your thinking. And if something comes up as a result of that, feel free to email me. Any questions or any comments that you have on that, or each other. I think that would be great for you guys to start emailing each other. So, but really, I want to throw out just the phrase and the word leadership and challenge you guys with that. I think culture has twisted leadership in many ways. And culture has even got great views of leadership, as well as poor views of leadership. But I want to ask you, what does leadership mean to you? You know, if somebody was asked to ask you, they might, hey, what are you doing this summer? And you could say, I'm in a leadership position at camp. Well, what exactly does that mean? You know, maybe it entails responsibility, you know, the idea of leadership. Maybe it entails you're the boss, you know, in some ways. But I really want you to think that leadership is more than that. I want you to think biblically, what does leadership look like? You know, there are great characters in the Bible that are great examples of us in leadership. And most of all, in those leadership characters, we realize that leaders fail. And there's a good chance that this summer in your leadership position you might fail. But how does a leader handle that? We'll talk a little bit about that again. But biblically, what does leadership look like? In the areas of service, you know, what does a leadership look like? I'm very much in tune to the model that leadership is not a pyramid where you're at the top, but it's an upside down pyramid where you're at the bottom. And I would hope that in your positions this summer, you are serving those below you more than they're serving you. But how do you do that? You know, in what areas in your job do you serve? All right. Verbally, how are you going to lead verbally? That's a tough challenge, because a lot of times I think when we're put into opportunities of leadership, it's probably mostly in conflict. How do you deal with conflict verbally? How do you deal with somebody to not make them feel bad, but yet lead them to make them better at what they do? That's going to be a challenge for you guys. Relationally, you know, how often and how much time are you going to spend pursuing relationships? And one of the things that I've learned about this culture, especially in high school and colleges, is relationships mean a lot. Relationships are so valuable that oftentimes you'll go to your friends with issues and problems rather than to family or parents even. And I think that's okay in some ways, but how are you going to lead? How are you going to be looked at as to how you're going to help relationally, how you're going to lead relationally, how you're going to relate relationally? I want you to think about that in leadership. And really, lastly, how are you going to measure your leadership? How are you going to get to the end of the summer and say, I was successful? And I don't want you to depend just on me and a review that says, hey, you did well or not. That's not what I'm saying. How do you measure personally your success as a leader? It may be different for each person, but I really want you to think about those things as you're entering into those times of leadership. I'm going to try to do these video challenges or video thoughts like once every 2 weeks, and I really want you guys to wrestle with those ideas as you prepare for summer. And I really think God's got some really great staff members coming. He's got some great leaders in leadership, and I'm sure maybe through the talk you guys know who you are. But if anything comes up, like I said, questions, comments, or even if you want to really encourage each other, I would really encourage you to start that email connection and preparing for the summer. All right, that's all I have for you now. Thanks.